When you hear the word Persian, what do you picture? Maybe a mighty king like Cyrus the Great, leading an army across the desert. Or perhaps a golden empire with giant palaces and tall stone columns. Some might even think of modern-day Iranians walking through the streets of Tehran. But who really are the Persians? Long ago, the land we now call Iran was known as Persia. It was home to one of the greatest empires in history. But over time, many things changed. Borders, rulers, and even the people themselves. So here's the question. Are today's Iranians the same as the ancient Persians we read about in history books? In this video, we're going on a journey through time to uncover the true identity of Iran's people. We'll look at their ancient roots, explore the many different ethnic groups living in the country today, and discover why Persia became Iran. You might be surprised to learn that the story of the Persian people is far more complex and far more fascinating than you ever imagined. Stay with us as we uncover the untold truth of who the real Persians are. Let's go back in time, thousands of years before smartphones, cars, or electricity. The land we now call Iran was once the heart of a great empire, Persia. It all began with a man named Cyrus the Great. He wasn't just any king, he was a leader with a vision. Around 550 BC, Cyrus united different tribes and created the Achaemenid Empire, the first Persian Empire. It became one of the largest empires in the world, stretching from parts of Greece in the west to India in the east. But what made Cyrus truly great wasn't just the size of his empire, it was how he ruled it. Cyrus believed in fairness and freedom. When he conquered new lands, he didn't force people to change their religion or way of life. In fact, he let the Jews return to Jerusalem and rebuild their temple. This act of kindness is written on a famous clay cylinder called the Cyrus cylinder, which many believe to be the world's first human rights charter. Now, who were these ancient Persians? They weren't originally from the Persian plateau. They were part of the Indo-European tribes, who migrated from Central Asia. They settled in a region called Parsa, which later became Persia. But Persia wasn't alone. Other groups also lived nearby. The Medes were one of them, close relatives of the Persians who lived in the north. They even ruled their own empire before Cyrus came to power. Then there were the Elamites, and even older people who lived in southwestern Iran. Each of these groups had their own languages, gods, and customs. When Cyrus rose to power, he brought these cultures together under one rule, but he allowed them to keep their identities. This mix of cultures helped shape what we now know as Persian civilization. One of the most powerful forces in shaping Persian identity was Zoroastrianism, an ancient religion founded by the prophet Zoroaster. Zoroastrians believed in one God, Ahura Mazda, who stood for truth and light. They also believed in a constant battle between good and evil, and that humans had to choose the path of righteousness. This religion laid the foundation for ideas like heaven, hell, Judgment Day, and even angels, concepts that later influenced Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. The ancient Persians wrote in Old Persian, a language carved into stone using cuneiform script. Their most famous capital was Persepolis, a city full of tall columns, beautiful carvings, and grand palaces. Even today, the ruins of Persepolis speak of a people who valued art, architecture, and order. In short, the early Persians built a legacy of fair rule, deep faith, and cultural respect, a foundation that still shapes Iran today. But like all empires, Persia's golden age didn't last forever. After hundreds of years, the Sasanian Empire, the last great Persian dynasty, grew weak. In 651 AD, The Arab-Muslim armies invaded and brought the empire to an end. This was a turning point in Persian history. The Arab conquest didn't just change the rulers, it changed the religion, language, and identity of the land. Zoroastrianism, once the main religion, was replaced by Islam. Many Persians slowly converted, though some held on to their ancient faith. A big shift also happened in the language. The Arabic script replaced the old writing systems. Over time, Persian adopted many Arabic words, and the new language, Farsi, was born. Farsi kept the Persian spirit, but it now had Arabic letters and Islamic ideas. But here's what's amazing. Persian culture didn't die, it adapted. Persian poets like Rumi, Hafez, and Ferdowsi wrote masterpieces in Farsi. Persian art, music, food, and traditions continued, now mixed with Islamic faith. The Persian identity became Muslim, but never Arab. Iran embraced Islam in its own way, keeping its unique soul alive. Today, when people say Iran, many still think of it as a land of Persians. But the truth is, Iran is a rainbow of cultures and people. About 60% of the population is ethnically Persian. They speak Farsi and mostly live in the central parts of the country. But there's so much more. The Azeris, who speak a Turkic language, make up the second largest group. They mostly live in the northwest, near the border with Azerbaijan. Then there are the Kurds in the west, fierce and proud people with their own culture and language. In the south and southeast, you'll find Lurs, Balochs, and Arabs. The Turkmen live in the northeast, closer to Central Asia. Each group has its own language, dress, music, and way of life. Some celebrate different festivals, some have different foods, but they all live under the same flag, the Iranian flag. This brings us to an important point. Persian is an ethnic group, like Arab or Turk. Iranian is a national identity, like American or Canadian. So not all Iranians are Persians. Just like not all Americans are from one race, not all Iranians come from the same background. Understanding this helps us see Iran not as one color, but as a beautiful painting with many shades. For most of history, outsiders knew the land as Persia. But in 1935, something changed. Reza Shah, the ruler at that time, wanted the world to start using the name Iran. Why? Because Iran comes from the ancient word Aryanam, which means land of the Aryans. It's an old name found in sacred Zoroastrian texts, like the Avesta. Reza Shah wanted to show that Iran had deep roots and was part of a proud, ancient race. It was also a political move to build a stronger national identity. But the name change caused some confusion. Many people around the world still use the word Persian when they talk about Persian carpets, Persian cats, or the Persian Gulf. In fact, in some parts of the world, Persian sounds more romantic and rich in history than Iranian. Even within Iran, some people prefer to call themselves Persian. They feel it connects them more directly to their ancient past. Others say they are Iranian to reflect the full diversity of their country. So today, both names are used, but they carry different meanings. So who are the real Persians today? Are they a lost people from ancient books? Or are they still here, walking among us? The answer is both simple and deep. Yes, some people in Iran today are ethnic descendants of the ancient Persian tribes. They still speak Persian, follow old customs, and live in central regions like Fars, the land named after Parsa, the birthplace of ancient Persia. But they are just one part of a bigger picture. The Persian identity isn't just about blood. It's about culture. Persian poetry still lives in the hearts of Iranians. Writers like Hafez, Sa'adi, and Rumi are read and quoted across the world. Their words, full of love, wisdom, and spirit, keep Persian culture alive. Persian art, music, and even the Nowruz, New Year celebration, continue strong today. And while most Iranians are Muslim, the ancient religion of Zoroastrianism is not gone. In cities like Yazd, small Zoroastrian communities still worship Ahura Mazda and light sacred fires, just like their ancestors did. So today's Iranian identity is a rich blend, part ancient, part modern, part Islamic, and part Persian. The real Persians are not just a race or a tribe. They are a living legacy. You can see them in the language, feel them in the poetry, and hear them in the music. Their civilization never died. It adapted, survived, and continues to inspire. So the next time you hear the word Persian, remember, it's more than a name. It's a civilization that never faded. Like this video if you enjoyed the journey. Subscribe for more hidden truths from history. Comment below. What surprised you the most about Persia and Iran?